One of my favorite memories from Grand Valley's film program was actually working on a peer's senior thesis. We were all a big crew that got together to help out on this big project, and it really felt like we were just part of a real film crew without any supervision. Kind of different from the summer film. We had all done the summer film before. So we kind of knew what we were doing, and we were all able to just feel like this is the real deal now, and we had so much fun. I remember shooting like in the middle of the night in a graveyard, and then at a grocery store in the middle of the night, like lots of night shoots. But it was just so much fun, and the product ended up being great, and we all were really, really proud of it.
I would have to say that my absolute favorite memory that I can think of just off the top of my head when I was a student is uh, Gil, GMC Faux actually showed up to be the host of the Grand Valley Film Academy Awards. I invited him because I was a fan and I think that he's hilarious on YouTube. And I invited him and he actually showed up to host the event and he was in this huge like egg-shaped cape with feathers all over it and he was so funny and he like flew in singing his song. And he was just a total clown, but he was actually really chill and fancy hosting the entire event. I don't know. I won't forget that. It's really cool to have a connection with such a popular and really cool YouTuber, and just a great person all around.
The office that we were in at one time, there was really just one editing bay, and so as people would line up to edit their shows, there was really just a fun atmosphere and people joking and watching content and making suggestions, and it was a club in the way that we were all there having fun, but it was also a club in that we were all there pushing each other's art to the next level. When we would have our meetings, it was all about, watching the content, making suggestions. We all cared just so much to what we were putting on Channel 10 at the time, making sure that if a student turned on that TV to Channel 10, they would see something that might hook them. Of course, there were disagreements and political struggles, but all of that was because we cared so much about the direction of that organization. We understood that it was still brand new, and we were creating something that hopefully would last for a long time at Grand Valley. And I remember at one time I told somebody that I don't need to join a fraternity because I have my own letters, and those are GVTV.
I was an active member of Grand Valley Television for all 4 years. I was an active e-board member for 3 years of my time. And it's hard to describe it as a professional experience because we had so much fun with it. We had such a blast, but it was a professional show for us, for all of us involved with GVTV. We were very dedicated to making content. We worked on news shows all together. But it's the place where I met all of my best friends and my closest collaborators. I still am very close with the people that I met and became friends with through GBTV, and we still make work together. I think, though, to me, what was the most special experience about having a group like GBTV, though, was the opportunity to play and to learn that is outside of class. I will give a little shout out to Randy, who's behind the scenes pressing the buttons right now. He was one of the first persons that I worked with on a news show that we worked on together. And he said, "Hey, have you used a microphone before? Have you plugged it into an XLR cable?" And I said, "No, can you show me?" And he showed me. And that's kind of how I would describe the whole experience, is that you have this opportunity to learn from each other and from people who have different levels of experience. It was a safe place to go, where if you wanted to try something out and just explore, that's where you could go. But of course, there were a lot of different shows that we made, a lot of events we hosted. We did live, really for live streams, and it was something that I have very much held on to for very many years. I'm actually very pleased to hear that it's still going, and that it's still students are still having the opportunity to learn and to to make things with each other. I love it.
One of my favorite experiences from the film video program was for my first semester freshman year. I had 2 video courses and I had 2 projects going on at the same time. One of them was a stop motion animation project that I found myself working on in the basement of Lake Superior Hall till early in the morning. And then I had to wake up early and go shoot a documentary at a zoo about where they keep the animals in the wintertime. And it was a ton of work, but just being able to get my hands dirty and work on all these different things, it just got me really excited and looking forward to what life would bring.
I really appreciated the Grand Valley film program for many reasons. One of them was that we had so much access to equipment, instructors who cared, colleagues, students, everyone willing to help out. I had heard later on that people who went to Michigan State or U of M or even UCLA had issues getting access to equipment or all the facilities that we had for filmmaking resources. So I really appreciated learning that I had gone to the right place in addition to all the great instruction I got.
And one of my favorite things I did while I was attending was for the Fiction 1 class, I got to build my own Russian spaceship in the bottom of the Kirchhoff studio. And we were doing that for the project that I was chosen to have be one of the group projects in the class. So I wrote my script and we were able to have a student's budget and we were able to recreate what we could. And it was so helpful to have the experience just building something from scratch. And I ended up transferring those skills over to some freelance art department jobs that I now hold in Los Angeles. So I am very thankful for having the opportunity at Grand Valley while I was still a student.
One thing that I recall back when I was going to William James to Grand Valley in my day was had friends who were in a similar program at Michigan State, and they were talking about how they had to sign up for an hour of edit time. And my first response is, you can't do anything in an hour, especially when you're first starting out. This is a time-intensive undertaking, no matter what you're doing. I mean, I've lost hours in editing time. So I want to talk about that, both from Greg and Stephanie, about what kind of bond brings up, because you do spend some really intense times in sometimes very enclosed spaces or in a basement editing suite or someplace else with the students, but it really, it solidifies your network, your community, but also prepares you for working out in the real world. So I'm going to start with Greg. What can you recall about that time, and how does it impact what you do now?
Yeah, you do tend to spend a lot of intense time with people, and one of the things I remember is we were editing this film, and it was inspired by Apocalypse Now. And what we ended up doing was we were editing all night doing double system 16 mil, and we had to take a break at some point, and we just kind of got lost in the edit. And so we went out from the edit room into one of the auditoriums, and we put in a laser disc of Apocalypse Now and sat in the auditorium with that at full volume, and we watched Apocalypse Now. And it was one of those experiences that you don't get to have very often, and it was really fantastic. And being able to come back to an edit after something like that was really great.
Stephanie, how about some of your times?
Yeah, I will actually also echo a great experience that I couldn't even tell you how many times we like snuck into the Lake Superior lecture halls and would project our what we thought was our final cut on it, and then we'd realize something was messed up and we had to export it. But there was something about being in those edit suites at 3 a.m. with everybody else there too. Like, I can't even describe that feeling. I think one of my fondest memories I don't know if fond is the right word actually, but one of my memories of one of the most sleepless nights that I've ever had was the week before the thesis presentations, and I had been working on the editing, on the sound, on everything, and a group of us got together and said, let's finish this movie. I'll take the color, I'll do the mix, I'll do this. And we were all in different parts of campus. Someone was in Kirkhoff in the audio booth. Someone was in Lake Superior in the basement. Someone was at home taking on a different aspect of it. And so it was this huge collaboration effort. And I slept in Lake Superior for 5 nights in a row because we had to get this project finished. And I forget who it was. I want to say it might have been Deb in the film office. I was sleeping on one of those, just a couch. There was this little lounge, and I was sleeping on the couch, and it was like 7 a.m. And I hear like a little tap on the glass, and I had only gotten like a 2-hour nap at that point. And I was like, oh my gosh, where am I? Okay, I'm still in Lake Superior. Is the movie done? No, did I dream this? And also, I mean, something about sleeping on the audio booth floor too, finding some like fallen pieces of audio foam that you turn into a mattress and decide to just, take a little group nap together while you're in the middle of filming. So I think there's something about it is an unbreakable bond. There is no way that after these experiences that you have making these projects together that you can ever be unfused. So it is something that again, like I look back fondly now. In the moment, I wish like it would have been nice to eat, would have been nice to have some sleep, but you're in film school. This is what you have. So yeah, one of, again, fondest memories.
It puts you in the mindset of, I'm really tired. My mind is foggy. I'm hungry. I haven't had a shower for I'm not sure how long. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's the adrenaline.